Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. This is my last video update on my recovery journey, and it's also just to summarize my other videos. So, at the end of 2020, I had this tingling numbness sensation on my arms and legs. I went to my GP, who then referred me to a neurologist, but I could only get an appointment with him a month and a half later. By then, the numbness went away. It was just a pinched nerve, but he still went and, just to be safe, tested all my nerves and joints, and decided to do an MRI. And that's when they incidentally discovered an aneurysm on my main cerebral artery, my left MCA, which is kind of in line with your eye and ear in your brain. An aneurysm is a weakening of an artery wall, and then it starts ballooning out until it ruptures, and that's when you experience hemorrhage, bleeding on the brain. So mine, I would have eventually had a rupture, but mine was found incidentally, so it was considered an unruptured aneurysm, and it was nearing the size where it needed to be treated. And the way they treat it is they just put a clip on the base of the balloon, and then that basically just cuts it off, and the artery, it seals it up. So the first operation, I was very scared of it because there was so many risks involved. Death was one of them. I had to set up a will testament, just in case. That was a bit scary, but it was successful. And this was done, my initial operation was done on the 5th of February 2021. Unfortunately, then I was unlucky by having an infection in April, the end of April in 2021, which basically was between the bone and the dura mater. The dura mater is the membrane that surrounds your brain. So, well, lucky that it wasn't inside my brain, but it was still underneath my bone. So they had to cut me open in the exact same spot to remove the skull plate that they cut open initially. And so sewed me back up because that needed to get sent away to the lab where they feed it and it grows, and then I can determine what kind of infection it is so that I can get the correct antibiotics. That all was successful. My head didn't look so bad initially after that operation, but as the swelling went down, I could just, it was way more getting noticeable, this gap in my head, and I felt really uncomfortable, and appearance just, yeah. In July 2020, I went back for my final operation where they cut me open in the exact same spot to replace this hole with an acrylic one. So the skull, it was the same shape as the bone, as my skull. It was just made out of acrylic. So at the moment, I've got plastic and metal and titanium and acrylic in my head. So 2 weeks ago, I had a CT scan with contrast, so that's when they put a dye into your veins, so it just comes up better on the screen, and you can actually get like a little 3D model of your veins, and it's cool because I could see the clip. I don't know, the technology is just so great these days to actually see the shape of the clip in my head. So I then, a week after, had my doctor called me, my surgeon, my neurosurgeon, the one who did all 3 operations, to tell me very good news that there are no signs of any, obviously it's healed all well, but there's no signs of any new aneurysms coming up. Big change in my life. When I heard I was diagnosed with an aneurysm, I quit smoking. Well, I already kind of quit smoking, but I was still on vaping and nicotine. I gave all that up straight away because that's a big aggravator for aneurysms. So it's been a year since I've had nicotine, and it's sad that I had to go through something like that in order to quit. But it's been great. I feel great. I've saved a bunch of money because it's expensive to smoke in Australia, but that shouldn't be a reason. So very happy with the result. Everything's healed well. I did experience some weird sensations in my head at some point, but then I went away again. I think it's maybe just like a head cold or something where, and it's also just still part of the healing process. I had a lot of weird sensations around my scarring back, after the third operation, but that's just the nerves healing again. Like, and it was really weird touching the scar because there was like a lot of dead spots, and I was like, oh, I can't even feel that. But now it's back. Like I can feel everywhere, and it feels normal. So I'm feeling really great. Everything's been successful. I've been active a lot, so been putting myself through some strenuous activities, and still no sign of aneurysm. So that's really great news. I hope this series of videos have helped some of you guys. If you really want to know more about the whole process, you can go and watch each video. It's just dragged out. And then if you have any questions or things that you experience, you want to share, just comment below. Yeah, and that's pretty much my story, and I hope it inspires you to know that even though when you get an aneurysm, there is a chance, for someone who's very active, there's a chance to get back to your life as you were. Alright guys, thanks for watching, take care.